Hey everyone, welcome to Comic Yahud, your place for classic comic stories. Today's episode, Tintin and the Blue Lotus, Chapter 8. Let's dive in. Meanwhile, inside the armored car, two men, Tintin and Mr. Wang, revel in their fortune, boasting about the smoothness of their heist and the unexpected reunion with Snowy. Back at the station, a superior officer erupts in frustration, lamenting how easily an entire regiment could be whisked away, leaving nothing but smoke. His exasperation underscores the chaos and vulnerability that permeate their ranks. A furious general demands answers, his voice echoing with frustration as he questions why immediate action wasn't taken. His anger is palpable, demanding accountability from those around him. A tense officer, visibly sweating, explains the dire situation, revealing that all vehicles had been sabotaged, leaving them helpless. The weight of the sabotage adds to the chaos and despair in the air. The general, exasperated beyond measure, questions why airplanes weren't deployed, his gestures filled with desperation. A group of people stand under an archway, pointing towards the sky where airplanes are flying overhead with a sense of anticipation. The sight of the planes brings a glimmer of hope as they seem to be part of a crucial mission. Inside a tense office, the general paces anxiously, questioning why it has been 3/4 of an hour without any updates from the planes. His frustration is palpable, as he grapples with the uncertainty of the mission's outcome. Suddenly, the shrill ring of the telephone shatters the silence, offering a potential answer to the man's pressing concerns. The air is thick with anticipation as he moves to answer the call, hoping for news. The pilot, gripping the radio, reports his futile search to the general, his voice laced with confusion as he finds the armored car abandoned and empty. His words hang unanswered, leaving a sense of foreboding as he calls out in vain. Frustration boils over as the general slams his fist, condemning the incompetence of those around him and desperately questioning Tintin's whereabouts. His anger is palpable, driving home the urgency of their predicament. In a quieter, more strategic setting, Wang Qinyi calmly outlines their next steps, emphasizing the importance of finding Fang Xiying to save a loved one. His steady resolve offers a glimmer of hope amidst the chaos, as they plan to confront Mitsuhirato's gang. In a dimly lit room, Tintin reveals plans to travel to Hukow on the Yangtze Kiang, where the ransom for the professor is to be paid to the kidnappers. The next morning, the resolve is palpable as Tintin sits on a train, Snowy by his side, both gazing out the window. The landscape rushes past, and a sense of urgency hangs over them, knowing that their journey to Hukow is filled with uncertainty and peril. The train barrels forward, its engine roaring with determination, cutting through the countryside like a promise of hope. As it speeds along the tracks, the mission looms ever closer, each mile bringing them nearer to a confrontation that could change everything. Tintin listens intently as a fellow passenger warns of a river breaking its banks, causing widespread flooding and chaos. The uncertainty of reaching Hukow casts a shadow of doubt over their journey, adding a sense of urgency to their mission. As the train halts amidst the confusion, people rush to evacuate, their belongings hastily gathered in their arms. The relentless pace of the fleeing crowd mirrors the growing tension, as the magnitude of the disaster becomes increasingly clear. Peering from the train window, Tintin urgently questions a conductor about the abrupt stop, only to learn that the tracks are severed. The realization that their path is obstructed heightens the stakes, leaving them stranded in uncertainty. Amidst a bustling crowd, Tintin seeks answers from a train conductor about reaching Hukow, only to be informed that it will take 3 hours on foot. This revelation brings a wave of determination as he realizes the journey ahead is fraught with challenges. Joining a group of fellow travelers, Tintin and Snowy set off down the railway tracks, each step echoing the urgency of their mission. Shadows of the towering cliffs loom over them, casting a sense of foreboding as they press forward. As they reach the severed tracks, the sight of the twisted metal and barren landscape fills Tintin with a mix of awe and dread. Snowy stands by his side, their resolve unshaken despite the daunting path that lies before them. Suddenly, cries for help pierce the air, drawing Tintin's attention to a figure struggling in the river. Snowy barks anxiously, sensing the urgency of the situation as they rush towards the commotion. Tintin's heart races as he peers over the riverbank, evaluating the treacherous waters. Snowy stands ready at his side, the determination clear in his eyes. A desperate hand emerges from the raging waters, waving frantically for salvation. Tintin knows he must act swiftly to save the person from the clutches of the unforgiving current. Tintin races into the swirling water, determination etched on his face, with Snowy paddling beside him, both driven by a single purpose. The urgency of their mission propels them forward, battling the flood's relentless force. With powerful strokes, Tintin swims through the debris-laden water, Snowy bravely keeping pace, as they close in on the desperate figure. The weight of the situation hangs heavily as they push through the treacherous flood. Nearer now, Tintin spots the flailing hand of the person in distress, urging him to swim faster despite the fatigue setting in. Snowy stays vigilant, ready to assist, as they fight against time and nature's fury to save a life. As Tintin and Snowy reach the struggling figure, they find a young boy barely conscious amidst the wreckage of a sunken boat, his lifeless form a stark contrast against the swirling waters. Tintin's heart pounds as he grips the boy, determined to pull him to safety despite the turbulent currents. With unwavering resolve, Tintin hoists the boy onto his shoulders, trudging through the water with Snowy faithfully at his side, the weight of the rescue and the urgency of the situation pressing heavily upon him. The harsh landscape around them fades into insignificance as Tintin focuses solely on reaching solid ground. Finally on dry land, Tintin gently lays the boy down, relief flooding through him as he checks for signs of life, Snowy anxiously watching. A joyous cry escapes Tintin's lips as he discovers the boy is still breathing. Tintin sits beside the boy, a gentle smile on his face as he jokes about the boy's close encounter with the river, revealing his own name as Tintin. The boy, still catching his breath, looks at Tintin with a mixture of gratitude and curiosity. Introducing himself as Chong Chongchen, the boy's voice is laced with wonder as he questions Tintin's heroic decision to save him. Tintin listens intently, sensing the depth of the boy's disbelief and the weight of his past experiences. Chong speaks of a dark history, explaining how he believed all white devils were wicked due to the loss of his grandparents during a violent time. Tintin acknowledges the pain of the Boxer Rebellion, understanding the scars it left on those like Chong. Tintin kneels beside Chong, gently explaining that not all white men are wicked and that misunderstandings arise from ignorance. He emphasizes that different cultures struggle to understand one another, and many Europeans still hold misconceptions. Tintin continues, describing the harmful stereotypes Europeans have about the Chinese, imagining them as cruel and deceitful, indulging in peculiar habits. He passionately points out how these stereotypes extend to physical attributes, with Europeans convinced of exaggerated traits like tiny feet, causing real suffering for Chinese girls. Tintin's voice is a blend of sorrow and determination to bridge these cultural divides. The chilling image of babies floating in the river grips Tintin's heart as he speaks of the cruel myths perpetuated by ignorance, his voice echoing with the pain of countless innocents. As Tintin shares these harrowing tales with Chong, the disbelief in Chang's eyes is palpable, and he responds with incredulity, questioning the sanity of those who hold such beliefs. Meanwhile, a tense conversation unfolds between Mitsuhirato and a general, as Mitsuhirato brings urgent news about Tintin, sparking a sharp inquiry into Tintin's whereabouts. Mitsuhirato, with a look of urgency, informs the general that Tintin has taken a train to Hukow, his voice tinged with concern. The general, startled by the mention of Hukow, expresses frustration at the difficulty of reaching Tintin in such a remote region. Mitsuhirato, however, leans forward with a glint of determination, hinting at a daring plan to overcome this obstacle. Meanwhile, Tintin converses with Chong, who appears lost and vulnerable as he reveals his parents are missing. Chang's plea to accompany Tintin, filled with hope and desperation, adds a poignant twist to the unfolding drama. Chong, with determination in his eyes, assures Tintin that although danger looms, together they would be stronger, igniting a flicker of hope amidst the uncertainty. Their shared resolve creates a bond, uniting them against the challenges ahead. With renewed vigor, Tintin, Chong, and Snowy set off towards Hukow, guided by Chang's knowledge of a shortcut, their pace quickened by the urgency of their mission. The landscape rushes by as their determination propels them forward, a beacon of hope in the vast wilderness. Meanwhile, in a room filled with tension, a man in a tuxedo seeks to persuade a general of the merits of an idea, hinting at influential connections. The atmosphere is charged with anticipation as the man's confidence suggests a pivotal moment that could alter the course of their journey. Mitsuhirato chuckles triumphantly as he examines a note indicating J.M. Dawson owes him a significant sum of money, revealing the depth of his influence. His satisfaction is palpable, hinting at the power he wields behind the scenes. The following day, Chief of Police is informed of Mitsuhirato's arrival, his demeanor a mix of curiosity and anticipation. The mention of Mitsuhirato's name signals the importance of this meeting, setting the stage for an encounter laced with intrigue. As Mitsuhirato enters the room, he is greeted warmly, yet the question posed to him carries an undercurrent of suspicion. The host's polite inquiry belies a deeper curiosity about Mitsuhirato's unexpected visit, intensifying the charged atmosphere. Mitsuhirato leans in, his voice smooth yet insistent, as he offers to forget a debt in exchange for a favor. The air is thick with tension as the other man, skeptical and wary, questions Mitsuhirato's intentions. Mitsuhirato reveals his plan, wanting Tintin arrested in Hukow, but the man across the table protests, claiming his authority doesn't extend into Chinese territory. The stakes are raised as Mitsuhirato presses on, undeterred by the jurisdictional complexities. Mitsuhirato, with a knowing smile, suggests that the Chinese would permit the pursuit of a European beyond the settlement. His confidence is palpable, as he tries to sway the man with promises of cooperation from the authorities. The man, hesitant and troubled, grapples with the weight of an unjust accusation, pondering how to justify the pursuit of Tintin despite his innocence. His mind races, knowing full well the stakes involved, yet he feels trapped in a web of deceit. Mitsuhirato, with a sly smirk, suggests a cunning plan, implying Tintin's involvement in a professor's kidnapping as a plausible excuse. The man, desperate for a solution, reluctantly agrees as the room fills with the smoke of underhanded schemes. At the Chinese police headquarters, an officer answers a call from Mr. Dawson, who urgently requests a pass for his detectives to pursue a European suspect. The officer, intrigued by the mention of Professor Feng Xiying, readily agrees, setting the wheels of a dangerous pursuit in motion. The chief of police, sitting at his desk, assures Mitsuhirato that the pass will be ready by morning, promising swift action from his men. In a shadowy room, two men shake hands, sealing a clandestine agreement regarding Tintin's arrest and release. The sinister pact is cemented with the cancellation of a debt, hinting at deeper corruption and betrayal. Meanwhile, Tintin and his companion stand on a mountain path overlooking a village called Hukow, with Snowy by their side. The tranquil scenery contrasts sharply with the danger that looms over them, as they remain unaware of the threats closing in. Tintin and Chang cautiously navigate a steep, rocky path that winds up the mountain, the sense of urgency palpable in their steps. Snowy follows closely, his small frame determinately keeping pace despite the imposing terrain. As they enter the bustling town of Hukow, Chang speaks of a potential refuge with a friend of his father, offering a glimmer of hope amidst their anxiety. The bustling crowd around them seems oblivious to the personal quest unfolding as Snowy weaves through the throng. Welcomed warmly at the threshold of a humble abode, Chang is embraced with heartfelt joy, easing the tension from their journey. The words of hospitality echo warmly, promising sanctuary under the modest roof as Snowy looks up curiously. In a dimly lit office, amidst an air of intrigue, Thompson and Thompson receive vital documents from an official, who assures them that the travel permits and safe conduct will ease their mission. The expressions on their faces reveal the gravity of the task ahead, as they nod solemnly, clutching the papers tightly. The document, an official pass from the police headquarters, demands all Chinese authorities to assist the bearer, promising them aid and cooperation. This powerful decree seems to hold the promise of protection and support, yet the shadow of uncertainty looms large over their venture. As they walk briskly down a cobbled street, their minds heavy with the weight of unwanted duty, Thompson and Thompson grumble about their rotten luck. Their assignment to arrest a friend adds a bitter twist to their mission, casting a shadow over their steps as they march forward. Seated at a small wooden table, Thompson and Thompson discuss their travel plans, hoping the evening train will provide them ample time to mentally prepare for their daunting task. A waiter hovers nearby, adding a tense undercurrent to their otherwise quiet determination. The following morning, the detectives emerge from a grueling overnight train ride, followed by a long walk, finally arriving at their destination in Hukow. Exhaustion weighs heavily, but their spirits are lifted by the sight of the city gates, a beacon of hope in their mission. Dressed in elaborate disguises, they navigate the bustling streets with a renewed sense of purpose, confident in their clever concealment. As they pass by a startled onlooker, their synchronized steps and shared resolve highlight the gravity of their secretive endeavor. As they continue their secretive mission, the duo reflects on the chaos they might have caused if they had worn European clothes, while a passerby is taken aback by their appearance. Their synchronized strides underscore the seriousness of their mission as they press onward. Navigating through the crowded market, their senses heighten as they feel the weight of curious eyes upon them, suspecting that they are being followed. The bustling street teems with life, yet their shared intuition warns them of the lurking danger. Suddenly, a shout from behind catches their attention, causing them to pause in alarm. Tintin, accompanied by a small, determined dog, points toward them. The two identical detectives, startled by the sudden greeting, turn to see a curious Tintin approaching them. With confusion lingering in their eyes, they ask what brings him to this unexpected encounter, while Snowy, ever alert, sniffs the air suspiciously. The detectives exchange worried glances, their internal struggle evident as they ponder how to break the news. Tintin, insistent and unaware of the gravity of the situation, urges them to reveal the matter at hand. With a heavy heart, one of the detectives reluctantly produces a document, revealing it to be a warrant for Tintin's arrest. The shock on Tintin's face is palpable, as he grapples with the sudden turn of events that threaten to disrupt his world. Tintin gazes at the document in disbelief, as an official explains that all Chinese authorities are required to assist him. His heart races at the unexpected power this paper grants, but uncertainty still clouds his mind. Gathering his resolve, he faces the detectives, declaring his readiness to comply with their demands. The weight of the situation hangs heavily on him, yet there's a flicker of determination in his eyes. As he bids farewell to his friend Chang, his voice trembles with the gravity of his arrest. The detectives prepare to escort him, their intentions set on reporting to the chief of police, leaving behind a lingering sense of unease. Thompson and Thompson, clad in their traditional attire, escort Tintin through the courtyard, a sense of urgency in their steps. Tintin, caught in a wave of uncertainty, walks between them, pondering the unfolding events and his uncertain fate. Inside a grand chamber, the detectives present Tintin to an official, attempting to validate their authority. However, the moment turns comical as they fumble through their pockets, realizing their proof is missing. Panic sets in as one detective discovers the document is nowhere to be found, his face flushed with embarrassment. The tension in the room thickens as he desperately searches, leaving everyone in a state of suspense. The tension escalates as the officer realizes his mistake, admitting he showed the document to the prisoner but now cannot find it. Frustration grows as the question of its whereabouts hangs heavily in the air. In a desperate bid to recover the lost document, one of detective rushes out, his heart pounding as he clutches his hat against the wind. Rounding a corner, relief floods his face as he spots the missing document lying on the ground. His luck has turned, and he breathes a sigh of relief, reaching down to retrieve it. Thanks for watching Comic Yahad. Like, subscribe, and catch you in the next chapter.